Advance and be recognized, everyone, and welcome to the Sitrep podcast, your forward operations space for all things military and historical wargaming. I am your host, Oriskany Jim, and today we're back to finish up our 80th anniversary commemorative game of the 19th of February, 1945, opening day for the Battle of Iwo Jima. The significance of Iwo Jima in the history of the American military, especially the U.S. Marine Corps, would be difficult to overstate. It stands beside places like Tripoli and Chapultepec and Belleau Wood, places that define what the Marine Corps is all about. Iwo is also the standard against which more recent battles have been measured, places like Chosin and Quezon, Hue City, and Fallujah. I'm not going to get into the Suribachi photograph or the memorial or all the movies, it's just way too much to go over right now. We reviewed the context and background for Iwo Jima last week. There's a link to part 1 in the description of this video. Check it out if you're interested in that material. Let's just say that Iwo Jima was a tiny volcanic island in the North Pacific that the Americans needed to continue their advance toward Japan, and the Imperial Japanese Army thought otherwise. Our game is using a modified version of Avalon Hill's classic Panzer Leader, but this time the counters each represent either a company or even an artillery battalion, as opposed to the usual scale, which is platoon, section, or battery. This is to help us get our arms around the sheer scale of the battle, and remember, we're only trying to recreate the opening day. My friend Dylan is playing the Japanese, and he's got units like the 109th IJA Division, 2nd Mixed Brigade, and various units of Japanese naval troops. He's deeply dug into an absolute anthill of Japanese fortifications, to the point where almost every single playable hex on the entire map is considered a Japanese improved position. Like I said last week, some historians say that the Americans were fighting a battle on Iwo Jima, but the Japanese were fighting a battle in Iwo Jima. And yeah, that means that I've got the Marines. So far, I've got 23rd and 25th Marines of the 4th Marine Division ashore, along with the 27th and 28th Marines of the 5th Division. 24th and 26th Marine Regiments will be landing soon, along with the 13th and 14th Marine Artillery Regiments, various Pioneer and Engineer units, and some other support assets as well. We're only 2 full turns into this game, and already my casualties have been appropriately horrific. The Marines are down 12 companies combat ineffective. That's a friggin' regiment, man. And if you figure a loose 50% to render a unit combat ineffective, we're talking about 1,200 casualties, 300 of them killed, all before the end of turn 2. I've used up all my Marine air power, my naval gunfire support is doing all it can, but I'm telling you, it's just not enough. But I have taken one of my required objective hexes on Motoyama Airfield number 1. Now, of course, I need 4 of these objective hexes to win the game, but I'm on my way. I think I've also cleared, 3 Japanese bunkers, but don't crack the champagne yet, because we do have rules for tunnel movement and hidden Japanese units in underground bunkers. I have a bad feeling that Dylan is about to leverage some of these troops to repopulate and reactivate some of these fortification complexes. Some of these positions are going to come back to life after having been cleared, just like we see in the history, and I'm going to have to assault them again and perhaps again after that. So, turn 3 awaits. Let's head over to the footage and let's see if the Marines can carry the day. Okay, we're into turn 3. I'm not doing too bad so far, but now his close-range anti-tank guns has dispersed this tank company. This tank company was dispersed during my movement phase last turn, and now we're on his direct fire phase of the next turn, and he is under range of 1 battery of 75mm AA guns and an anti-tank roll, and the range is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, more than half range, so it halves against armored targets. 5 to 9, it's 1 to 2, but Dylan gets to subtract 1 from his roll, and a double D will kill him. Anything you want to say before you chuck the dice, Mr. Dylan?
No, let's see some flaming tanks go up in flames.
No! Alright.
A 3.
3 becomes a 2 on the 1 to 2 column as a double D, and like we like to say, a double D will do it against a dispersed unit. That is my first company of Shermans knocked out. I I don't appreciate that at all. What are you doing here, Dylan? You trying to win the game or something? What's
Well, I took out a Marine infantry unit to their left earlier, so hopefully I can sort of stem this giant advance coming forward. So.
All right, we are now done with your direct fire. We go into your support phase. Are you going to commit some more of your tunnel units?
Absolutely. So in each of the forts, there's actually another tunnel unit. So each of the 2 empty forts, tunnel unit comes out.
Okay, so we got an empty fort here. Is now. I thought that position was taken out. It was.
I thought you said it was clear! It's wide!
This one as well, I'm assuming?
Yep, that one there.
This is the second time I'm taking some of these positions. I'm already having to clear out these guys a second time. Again, welcome to Iwo Jima. Good news is he's running out of these, so he's only got a couple left. But yeah, starting to run out of time here. Do you have any movement, Dylan?
The only movement will be the infantry unit on my left. I'll move that into the fort as well.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that does bring up another special rule for this scenario. No opportunity fire is allowed against a Japanese unit moving into or out of a fortification hex. Again, this place was honeycombed with at least 8 miles of tunnels. Yikes. That position just got reinforced big time. Not so happy about that, especially since I've got 1 platoon of tanks dispersed, another one burning, I should say company. And there goes my big direct fire softening up attack against that bunker. So, that's going to wrap up Japanese turn 3. We'll start American turn 3. Okay, over here in 4th Marine Sector, we're hopefully going to get some decent flame-throwing action. I've got 2 companies that include flame-throwing Shermans, I should say. So that's going to be 20 points. They are point-blank, so they get to subtract 2 from their DRM when they're shooting point-blank because of the range of the flamethrowers. Versus 17, 1-to-1 odds, add 2, subtract 2. So 1-to-1 odds, no modifiers, net. 5 is no effect. Oh, man. Oh, well. Part of their split move and fire, they're going to displace a little bit. Alright, do we have any opportunity fire from that NLF detachment, Mr. Damon?
Yes, at that weapons company.
Cool, so it's 1-to-2 odds?
6.
No effect. Okay, so I've got 4, 9, 12, plus 9 more makes a total of 21. Plenty of engineers in here, which means my 21 versus 17, 1-to-1 now becomes 2-to-1. And I subtract 3 from the die roll, he adds 2 for his fortress. We're at 2-to-1, subtract 1 from the die roll net. 5 becomes a 4, they are dispersed. Alright, so we got 1 more absolutely gigantic. Get out of that if you can, Mr. 4th Company, 309th Independent Battalion. Oh boy, I don't even know if I want to add this up. 69 total points versus 16, divided by 16. That's going to be 4-to-1. Engineers becomes 5-to-1. Subtract net 1 from the die roll, he's smoked. Because even if I roll a 6, it becomes a 5, which at 5-to-1 gets it done. So that position is cleared out again. That's the second time I've cleared out that position. And I think that wraps up Marine turn. Let me go ahead and rally any units that I have to this 1 company of Shermans. Let me try to rally him. Try to rally him. 1, he rallies. Alrighty. And that's going to wrap up Marine turn 3. Okay, Dylan has just finished hammering me yet again with all of his indirect artillery. Definitely his favorite phase of the game so far.
Absolutely. I managed to take out about, 3 or 4 things of engineers. I'm
yeah,
happy about that.
2 pioneers and 2 construction engineer companies. So, yeah, things are not looking good on yellow and blue. Okay, so before we go to direct fire, do you have any more units that you want to reveal in your support phase?
I'm going to reveal my last 2 Japanese support units, 1 in each fort.
Oh, come on, man. Let me guess. We got to take these positions a 3rd time. Oh, no. We've got this guy completely surrounded. He pops up out of the ground. Japanese tunnels. The good news is that is the end of his Japanese support units. So no more of that. Sweet. Let's go now to your direct fire. We want to start, get those big batteries there. Okay, who do they want to shoot at?
They are going to rain down on... they're going to go for the engineer company in 1908.
1908. Cool. Alright, so that is 10 points. He's not within half, so he stays at 10. 10 to 8 is 1-to-1 odds.
2.
Is pinned him down. Alright, we're going to wrap up the rest of direct fire and then check in after that. Okay, we're now into American turn 4, and what's interesting here is we are finally getting some actual Marine artillery on the beach. So naval gunfire, in case anyone's wondering why I can't just drop, 14-inch and 16-inch battleship shells, naval gunfire is not allowed adjacent to Marine units, because 16-inch artillery shells 100 feet away from you is, not really a good thing. On-board artillery, however, is a different story. So I actually have 2 battalions of PaK 75s now. That's going to be double 6s, mortars, these are the regimental weapons companies, so these are 81mm mortars. So that is 18 points, dropping on your 16 points, 1-to-1, however I do have to add 2 to the die roll. Oop, get that out of there. 2, 1-to-1, add 2 to the die roll, that 2 is read as a 4, that does count as a dispersal. Stage 2, direct fire, that was indirect fire. I have 1 tank company left. I have 2 tank companies left. They are both adjacent to the target, so they are going to fire their flamethrowers into that bunker against those pinned down Japanese. 20 points versus 16. Again, 1-to-1. They automatically subtract 2 flamethrowing Shermans when firing adjacent. Additional subtract 1 because he's dispersed. So I'm actually subtracting 3 from the die roll. Adding 2 for his fortification means a net subtract 1 on 1-to-1. So 1-to-1, net subtract 1, and a double D will do it. 2 becomes a 1. That is him smoked. And that was all done in the direct fire phase. So now in the movement phase, again, this is pending your opportunity fire. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 with split move and fire. And yes, I do want that fort, so you can't reoccupy it.
I'm looking forward to my opportunity fire.
Yeah, by all means, because you take it as I'm moving, so don't let me get too far ahead of you. Yeah, where are you taking opportunity fire?
Those 47mm AT guns are going to take a shot at your Shermans as they take that objective.
All right, cool. So I was here, we'll say, because once I'm here, I'm out of sight. So as I'm moving, I get that close.
And they'd be assisted by the AT guns on Mount Suribachi if they are in range.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're in range for this one, not for that one.
Okay, 2 opportunity fires then.
Okay, technically speaking, you're within 2 hexes, so I hate to say it, but this guy actually does double. So 12 versus 9 is 1-to-1 odds.
A 2.
At 1-to-1 odds, that's him dispersed. So that's as far as he can go, but you're still going to go ahead and take that shot.
Yep.
10 versus 9. Now he's up greater than half, so he will have. That goes down to 5 to 9 is 1-to-2.
2.
That still pins him down. Alright, so right now we're still looking at a Japanese tactical victory. I only have 2 of the 6 objective hexes. I don't know, this one's pretty tough. It's inside concrete buildings. And then there's this monster up here, which I've just taken too many losses. Historically, the Marines never really got up to the quarry. They would scale the quarry and actually put a dent in this position on day 2 and 3. But on the actual day, they didn't make very much progress up those cliffs at all. Because of the absolute horrific casualties, and we've seen that in the game. Look at some of these hexes. Every one of these is a company combat ineffective. Any other thoughts before we continue Marine turn 4?
Looking forward to the airfield. I'm going to stack that hex up, and we'll see if Jim can take some urban hexes this time instead of just forts.
I'm still dealing with this guy in my rear. I could have sworn I had all those gophers burned out of that hole. I've done it twice now. Guess what? I got to do it a 3rd time. Good news is I've got the better part of 2 regiments of Marines stacked up around them.
These naval landing companies have been really good too. These 2 naval landing detachments have held those bunkers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but just because they are technically Japanese Marines, I did give them 1 extra point of defense. That is a difference Dylan did not miss. And it does affect the division, because again, everything in Panzer Leader is divided into odds. And sometimes 1 extra point of defense makes a big, big difference. One more thing, folks, I wanted to bring up, in case anyone notices, any sharp-eyed viewers out there, we do have some units that are not in Marine markings. 471st, 473rd, and I think it's 476th companies of these amphibious truck were actually there. They were Army troops, and at least on D-Day, I do believe they were the only African-American troops involved in the battle. The Marines did not have enough of these duck amphibious truck units to tow all their artillery aboard, so these guys were brought in to help out. So, speaking of which, these guys are all unloaded, by the way. I just wanted to put those ducks on top to sort of showcase them for a second. Meanwhile, did you want to launch your opportunity counterattack 3 versus 8? This is probably the one time you're going to get to use this rule. Because
Let's do it.
I wasn't careful, and I'm sending that company in by himself. So 3 to 8 is 1 to 3, but you get to subtract 2 from the die roll.
Here we go. 2.
2 becomes a 0 on 1 to 3. He is dispersed, and thus will not be able to help with this close assault. So somebody got brave with his samurai sword there. Okay, so now we've got 70 points divided by 16 is an ugly 4 to 1. I do have engineers in there, that makes it 5 to 1. And I am net subtracting 1 from the die roll. There's no contest. Even if I roll a 6, my 6 becomes a 5, and that's enough to kill 5 to 1. Okay, we're getting a little ahistorical here. I'm landing the back end of 4th Marine Division. They have now landed at the extreme edge, and they're already adjacent to an enemy fortification, not to mention an objective hex. So it's kind of a forlorn hope. Spoiler alert, what I'm really doing is I'm using up his opportunity fire so he doesn't nuke my 105 batteries that are coming on the table right after this. You are going to go ahead and take opportunity fire on these units?
Yes, I will.
Alright, cool. Now, the good news, obviously they're point blank, so everything doubles. At least your H's do. So that's going to be 10 and 5, that doubles to 30. 33 with the, I'm sure the rifle company also jumps in there.
Yep.
These guys have already fired. I'm making sure there's nothing else I'm missing. Naval guns. Oh, man. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. These guys are screened by this hex here. Okay, thank goodness. I thought this hex was also going to get thrown in there. Alright. I wasn't completely trying to commit suicide there. Yeah, 2506 screens them. This little outcropping from opportunity from further up the quarry. Good news. Good news. Okay, so you've got 30 total, 33, so it's going to be 4 to 1 against somebody.
Okay.
5 to 1 if you're shooting at a weapons company.
No, I'll go for a rifle company.
Cool, go ahead.
4.
That does kill him. That was pretty cool. And, okay, we're now going to go ahead and finish up movement phase with a grand total of 19 points versus... Ooh, look at what you did. 10 plus 10 makes 20. If you had smoked a weapons company instead, took the easy way out, I would still be at 1 to 1. What did we say about 1 point makes a difference? Now I'm at 19. I'm now at 1 to 2. Negative 1 from the die roll. Here we go. Let's see what happens. And I rolled 1, minus 1 at 1 to 2 odds. So basically I just rolled a 0 at 1 to 2 odds. Oh my god. Alright, that was just a blindly lucky roll. I also want to apologize for that. What have I said about my assault rolls in this game? They have been out of
the assault rolls have been fantastic, yeah. I've been lucky with my artillery and you've been lucky with your assaults. So.
Totally. Okay, with turn 5, this unexpected battle to the extreme east. So we're now on Japanese turn 5, indirect fire. Dylan, where are you going to throw in your last big battery of 240mm mortars?
We are going for the 2 Marine companies who are assaulting the fort.
Alright, so that's 18 versus 8 and affects everything in the hex, so it's going to be 2 2-to-1s.
Cool, first one, 3.
That's dispersed.
Second one, 3.
Another one, okay, so you pinned them down. Alright, so now you've got these mortars. They're going to fire on this hex over here, I think.
Yes, they are, yep.
Cool, so you've got 1 at 1 to 2 and 1 at 1 to 3.
Okay, 1 to 2. A 2.
Pins them down. And 1 to 3.
A 4.
Has no effect. Okay, we're into Marine turn 5, and I've got some artillery deployed on the beach, including my 2 battalions of 105s. I would like to be able to suppress him, but I'm within minimum range. Minimum range on indirect H-class weapons is a quarter of printed range, so that's going to be 4. But that's okay, he's got something else he can shoot at. Actually, you know what? I want whoever's killing all my Shermans. I'll engage that way. Okay, so I got 2 13s, 26 total points, versus 12, versus 12, versus 13. That's going to be 3 2-to-1s, but I'm adding 2 to all my die rolls. Alright, now the Marines actually have some gun tubes on the beach. Things are going to get hectic. 5 becomes a 7 unless I roll like that. That's 2-to-1, no effect.
Nice.
Becomes a 4 at 2-to-1, that is some effect. I.e. dispersed. And against the mortars. 1 plus 2 becomes 3 on 2-to-1, only pinned him. Even with a 1 I can only pin him, but that's okay. The whole reason I did that was to lift some of the fire off my Shermans, and he's the one guy that survived. Okay, my rocket trucks, which I finally get to use, yay! They will drop a rocket barrage on these guys. Alright, so it's going to be 12 here, 3 here makes 15, 25, so as long as I get to 1-to-1. 1-to-1, I have to add 2 to the die roll. 2 becomes a 4 on, what did I say, 1-to-1? That
1-to-1, yep.
Barely suppressed them. Alright, so that wraps up direct fire. I'm just going to go straight into movement to kind of get this one section of the table cleaned up. Alright, here's the one that is really crucial. It may not determine if I win the game, but it would be kind of nice to get a little bit more than the historical result. Everybody here was pinned, so nobody can move except this one rifle company. The problem is I'm going up more than 1 elevation hex, so I have to roll for it. So I'm going up, multiple elevation hexes. I have to roll a 1, 2, or a 3 to move. If I make it, I'm in the fort, and then he's got to dig me out of the fort, and good luck with that. If I don't, he's going to get in the fort first, and good luck with me getting... we're basically in a race for the fort. So here we go. 1, 2, or a 3. A 4, they cannot quite scale the cliff. So he is stuck there. This platoon, or this company, is going to move in there, and that's going to pretty much shut down my prospects on that end of the table. But that's okay. Alright, yeah, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and try to wrap up. There's no real shooting left over here, so pending any opportunity fire. 1, 2, 1, 2, technically 3, 4 because I'm going down that slope. It's not really required, but I'm just trying to make sure that no one launches a cat attack on the last turn of the game and, recaptures a hex. Okay, so things are heating up in the center where, you never know, I might have a chance to take the main control buildings for the Motoyama Airfield, number 1. Dylan, you're going to launch your opportunity cat attack?
Yes, against the weapon companies and the rifle company.
Yeah, your 9 versus their 20, technically, that is 1 to 3, but you do get to subtract 2 from the die roll.
Cool. A 4 becomes a 2.
They are all dispersed, and thus will not be in the close assault. Okay, now the assault goes in. So 29 versus 5 for the buildings, 11, 18, 24. Yeah, it's 1-to-1, subtract 1 from the die roll. That is a 2. They have survived. They are pinned down. So who knows how this is going to turn out, guys. Dylan, you think you're going to be able to hold on to this hex?
I think I can hold it. I think I can hold.
Yeah, even if I do get in there, I'm just going to take all kinds of opportunity fire from these other guys. Alright, we're in Japanese turn 6, and just when the Marines start to think they have this start to be wrapped up, welcome to Iwo Jima, it's going to cost us. There's still one battery of 240mm mortars that are going to drop here on these guys, which just got pinned by a Japanese opportunity cat attack. So, you got 18 points, 3-to-1 on this, subtract 1 from the die roll.
A 5.
5 becomes a 4 on 3-to-1. That's a kill. In fact, even if you roll a 6, you subtract 1 is a double D. Those 2 weapons platoons are automatically killed. Holy crap, we're not done bleeding yet. Alright, they're both smoked. And now this one is 18-to-8, 2-to-1, subtract 1 from the die roll.
A 2 goes to a 1.
Hey, he smoked. He wiped out the whole, or the majority of a battalion. Good grief. Marine losses continue to climb, including some of my favorite units. 80 millimeter naval guns managed to just drop a 3-to-1 attack on my poor provisional rockets. These guys were like my favorite unit, man. They're not even that powerful, but Dylan had to kill them anyway. But that's okay. Yeah, Japanese, they've still got some kick to them. They've knocked another unit out of this hex. They're starting to target pin down units, dispersed units, because they're easier to kill. Anything else you got going this phase?
I have got I've got 80. I've got 80 guns.
Fired, but yeah, okay, this guy hasn't fired yet.
Yeah, they're going to go straight into those Shermans.
Oh, these guys just won't die. So yeah, 1-to-1 odds.
3.
Pins them down again.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to do something with my battleship fire on that, because that one battery of
You did do something with your battleship fire on that, didn't you? Or was that the rockets?
Yeah, that was my rockets and my beach artillery. It wasn't enough though. That reminds me, we gotta roll to rally these two.
Cool. The top one.
Yep.
2.
Your 80 millimeter mortars do rally, and then your flak guns
4.
do rally because your morale is B. Sweet. So that whole stack just got resurrected. Oh man, how many times we have to kill these Japanese positions? Hopefully, wrapping up things at the bottom of the 6th. I have got all my 105s of both 14 Marine Artillery Battalion and 13th Marine Artillery Battalion. That's these guys down here and these guys up here. They are going to triangulate on that objective hex right there. That is going to be 26 in that hex, 26 more in that hex, 52 points, and it affects everything in there. Okay, so that's going to be 11 to 56, so it's going to be a 5-to-1, a 5-to-1, and a 4-to-1. So 5-to-1, add 1 to the die roll for conquering buildings. 5 becomes a kill, 2 becomes a kill, and this is a 4-to-1, add 1 to the die roll. 3 becomes a 4, the artillery got it done. Smoked them all out of there. Okay, that's going to wrap up indirect fire, and then, to be fair, we're just going to start moving these guys in. Going on to movement, I now have Motoyama Airfield number 2. We finally got that position emptied, although it's not even an objective hex. I don't know why I got fixated on that one hex so much. Probably because I had to empty it out like 4 times. And I did not take that one. And there's no way I'm cleaning him out again. So, I mean, not going through all the motions, because, I mean, there's still stuff that I have to, would have to move around, but not to waste everybody's time. Also, this little pocket of resistance still remains. Let me try to take care of him. I mean, I doubt it, but you never know. I do have 10 to 17. That is 1-to-2 odds. No subtraction from the die roll. And flamethrowers at fort. 2 on 1-to-2 odds does disperse them. Now in comes cat attack with engineer support. 10, 18, 23. It's 1-to-1 becomes 2-to-1. Subtract 2 net.
Yep.
2 is a 0. Okay, we finally did empty out that position. We still don't occupy it, but at least we did empty it. And unless you wanted to do anything else there, Mr. Dylan, I think that's going to wrap things up. We are now at 4 p.m. on February 19th, and we have slightly exceeded the conditions of the day. So the conditions for the day were this hex was taken, that hex was taken, and this hex was taken. That was the general battle line at the end of day 1. They didn't take the rest of Motoyama Airfield, and it wound up kind of, fizzling out here on Blue 2. Which is kind of what happened. I momentarily had a ray of hope there on Blue 2, but could not scale the heights, and more Japanese infantry got in there to take the position. And yeah, unless you had any other thoughts or actions you wanted to take here on the game board, it's up to you, Mr. Dylan.
No, thanks, Jim. It was really good fun. I've been playing a lot of Japanese and Malaya at the start of the war, where they're the aggressors on the attack all the time. So it was cool to play some Japanese defenders for once.
I just was rolling. I mean, I won't lie. I'm not going to sit here and call myself, Chesty Puller, the Master Marine Corps strategist. I just was rolling some hella dice on my assaults. Those first 3 assaults were what? 2 2s and a 1, something like that. Something
like that, yeah. And I got really lucky with my artillery, and your assaults were going in hard. So it was a brutal first turn or two. It was the artillery at the start of the game sweeping those beaches was very, very good. And the ability to just re-garrison those forts, just to slow you down, was huge as well. Which is what they did.
Absolutely. I had to take those first four fortifications. I had to take one of them. I had to take 3 of them 3 times, and one of them at least twice. Anything else from you before we log off?
Thanks for the game, Jim. Thanks for putting it on. It's been a while since we've had a game together, so it was really good to jump back into it.
There it is, folks. Thanks to some very kind assistance from the lovely Lady Luck, especially odd by close assault rolls, the Marines have taken and held their 4th objective hex, winning them a marginal victory. Now, honestly, the game was supposed to go another 2 turns, but we'd already been going for 5 hours at this point, and we decided to call it. Remember, everybody, this was just the first day. Iwo Jima would take more than a month to clear. In the end, 6,821 Marines and Navy corpsmen will be killed on Iwo Jima, with almost another 20,000 wounded. Japanese dead are going to total well over 20,000. To be honest, we'll never really know, with only about 1,600 of them surviving to surrender. 27 Medals of Honor are going to be awarded on Iwo Jima, with 14 of them, over half, awarded posthumously. That's the kind of fight this was. The guns wouldn't fall silent until March 26th, and for months after that, the 147th U.S. Infantry, that's originally a National Guard unit out of Ohio, would be rooting out the last Japanese defenders. I shouldn't say the last Japanese defenders. The last Japanese holdouts wouldn't surrender on Iwo Jima until January 1949. 49. Major General Graves Erskine, commander of the 3rd Marine Division, would say at the dedication of his division's cemetery on Iwo Jima, and I quote in part, "Let the world count our crosses. Let them count them over and over. Let us do away with names, ranks and rates, and unit designations here. Do away with the terms regular, reserve, veteran, boot, old-timer, or replacement. They are empty, categorizing words which belong only in the adjutant's dull vocabulary. Here lie only Marines." And I'm not even going to try to follow that up. That's where we're leaving this one, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Please remember to hit that notification bell. Also, please consider joining the Sitrep Podcast Discord. There is an auto-accept invitation link to our Discord in the description of this video. Join our community, see what everybody's up to, and best of all, show us what's happening on your hobby table. But for now, this is Oriskany Jim with the Sitrep Podcast. We are rounds complete for a rather somber and heavy episode. And as always, Tango Mike for watching.